heart's so full right now that I can see it beating. I have so much to tell you now, but every moment's fleeting. Because to see its truth, you gotta catch it in the light. Oh, just wrap your arms around it, hold on to it tight. Oh, yeah. I see you worry that your future's not a fortress, and I wonder the time it takes to realize the purpose. Wasting all your precious time all wrapped up in a bubble when it's all about the movement. No, it's not about the struggle. You're free to create. Don't hesitate. It's all what you make up. So follow the love. I love the way your face looks when you're seeking knowledge. It's like you just remember that you made a solemn promise to pick up all the pieces that somebody left behind and put them all together so your world will fall in line. But I got a way, put those pieces away. Now here's a pair of scissors, so go cut out your own day. Make sure that you use all of the colors that you love, 'cause they contain the promise that you've been dreaming of, and you're free to create. So don't hesitate. It's all what you make up. Follow the love. Here's the connection, just make that connection between what you want and some focused attention. Oh, you can't imagine, no, you can't imagine what you can do. Moment to moment, you search for atonement, but all you need now is a little component called love. Love, 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 love. So follow the love. You're free to create. Don't hesitate. It's all what you make up. So follow the love. How you doing? As I suspected. As I suspected. As we continue through this morning of sort of following the shift of the seasonal wheel, and also at looking at how it reflects our own
shifting in our life, in our awareness, in our individual journeys, and in our collective journey. I don't think I have to tell you that what we're navigating is not for the faint of heart. And so part of what I'm offering you today is an invitation to recognize your part of this tapestry of life, how important it is that each and every one of us show up in our unique color and creation, as your song said. And the opportunity that we have and have always had, and that is, what are we choosing to serve? And it's really easy to get caught in fear. And before we know it, we can be spiraling in that. It takes a conscious and purposeful and constant effort to make note of what we are plugging into and what is impacting our energy, our vibration, our outlook. I am referring to some work, a recent writing by my friend Heather Elizabeth, who's part of the Imagine Peace Project on the Shift Network, whose recent podcast, I think that's what it's called. I think it's a podcast. I listened to it on a different platform. But was reminding us of the purpose of service and how, service ideally is fulfilling. When we give to something we are passionate about, we receive, right? And how sometimes that can feel really daunting, and how important it is to take good care of ourselves, to be filling our cups up, because life is continuing as it always has, with its ups and its downs and its joys and its sorrows. Each of you are navigating your life with your aging parents and your children who are sometimes seeming on their path and sometimes driving you up the wall. Struggling. All of that is continuing to happen. Spouses get injured at work. We lose loved ones. And there's this giant narrative on the stage where we see a growing expression of darkness, of hatred, of fear, of violence. And so it's more important than ever that we are tending to ourselves, because we can't be of much service in any direction if we are depleted. I think Heather says we can't all need resuscitation at the same time. And we know in life, right, we show up for our people when they are struggling. They show up for us. We do that for each other in our collective communities, and we are being asked to do that as one collective community, one collective human race. So I just invite you to take a deep breath and, breathe into this, what I'm using, this shift of the season, the fall season, which brings that frenetic wind energy to begin to release things, leaves and life that are dying in the plant world. That's true for us too. So take a breath and consciously connect with how and who you feel you are this moment compared to this time last year. Oh my goodness, what a year it's been. Right? That there is something unfolding within you. And when we take time to become aware of it, it can be profound. And so just taking a breath. You are We are shifting into a new season led by Mother Nature herself. As a time to integrate all that has been happening outwardly with what that offers us inwardly. What is being revealed within our own awareness, individually and collectively. And so hear these words as your own. I am not the same person I was this time last year. The winds of change blowing all around me are shifting something within me too. And so the question becomes, am I willing to consciously tend to that shift, to what is being revealed within me? And to trust that that is working its way through you and through me and through us for a greater good, for a greater expansion of unity. So it is a huge feat to be on the planet right now. And for better or worse, we all said yes. Don't you? I'm like, can I see that card again? But really, some level of your soul knew that in your lifetime, you would be part of what many are calling the Great Turning. And as exciting as that is, we're seeing how messy it is. And how we know our own propensity to hold on, right? Our own propensity to be afraid when something is changing. And that is the biggest call of courage, to stand for it anyway. And so thank you for being here, for saying yes. Look at your neighbor. Just find a neighbor and say thank you for saying yes. And mean it. Thank you for saying yes. To stand together and co-create something brand new. The Great Turning, as I've heard it and relate most to it, is a turning away from a fear-based consciousness which is grounded in the illusion of separateness toward the foundation of love, unity, which is not uniformity, as we've been learning, but to recognize and live according to this truth that every single person alive and all of the living creatures, which we will be celebrating and loving next Sunday, are an expression of divine life. There need not be a hierarchy of worth. It's constructed and it's falling apart. And that's uncomfortable because we all have our place in it. Who will we be falling on? Who will be falling on us? Heather Elizabeth says it like this: this is the year of mastering the next expression of what it means to resonate at a soul level, to be aware of the power of our vibration and our energy, and keeping that up in order to promote wellness and well-being for ourselves and thereby our world. We have a choice. We always have a choice. And so the question becomes, at any given moment, particularly if you're struggling or you're feeling hopeless or you're feeling afraid, notice, what am I spending my time in service of? What am I investing my energy, my thoughts into? Do I want to shift that? She also drew my attention to the idea of just sitting with the vibration of service, being of service. I invite you to do that right now. You know, connect with the ways in which you have been of service in your life. You know, that's the word, that's the definition of ministry, to be of service. And that is really not just my job. Right? To be of service is the collective invitation for all of us to be of service to our families and to ourselves and to our world. So get a sense of what that feels like and notice, without judgment or resistance, if there's heaviness when you think of being of service. If there's a sense of duty over passion or genuine desire. And if there's a sense of heaviness, that's information. And I think many of us have gone in and out of that in this time where we just don't feel like we have much to give. And that points us back to the narrative that holds that somehow we should put ourselves last. This is especially true for women. That's changing. Right? That we should be in service of our families, of our colleagues, of our communities, and if there's any scraps left, we'll take them. And that brings up a heaviness and an emptiness, like I can't give anymore. So I hope that your time here, that you come to this place and space as a service to yourself, as a time to unplug and to plug in more deeply, to get inspired, to have community. Because there's no doubt that what we're being called into is going to be a group effort. We're going to need to stand together to support one another. And so the invitation today is to consider what it means to be of service to yourself. To not put yourself last. Not in the small me, myself, and I gotta do what I want when I want. Not like that. Right? But maybe letting a few things fall off your to-do list so that you can actually take some time to journal, go to your yoga class, get 8 hours of sleep, get up in time to have breakfast. To make those a priority, not a luxury. In order to build up your reserve of good so that you can actually be that space and place where love shows up more frequently. We can't all be in need of resuscitation at the same time. I have pretty much disengaged in social media. Just giving you an example of some things you could do. Except for the really inspiring speeches or funny songs or the ones of the kids that their parents are thinking they're going to say something else and they say a cuss word. Correct. What you saying? Or the dogs that pull their owners over. You know, things, but you know why? Because it lifts me up. It fills me back up. There's a little joy. Now, don't do it for 7 hours. Because then you're cutting into some of the other things that are a little more productive. Heather reminds me, being of service is not always easy, but it is meant to be fulfilling. I can remember that's really what got me to where I am here at Unity Spiritual Center Denver. I came here in 1997, not having a faith background, and grieving the loss of my dad, and I just loved it here. And I loved that bookstore, and I said, I want to volunteer in the bookstore. I started volunteering in the bookstore, managing the bookstore. Then I started volunteering in the office. And I can honestly tell you that I loved it. It filled me up. And it's different when you get paid for it. It just is. And it was a good reminder for me to still find areas where I am in service, that I'm not doing it as my vocation. So, to this end, we have reinstated our Volunteer of the Month program. Here's the thing. I'm not giving you this sermon this morning. It's not a sermon, this talk, in order for you to sign up to be of service. That's always an option here. And it's also a reminder to be sure you're plugging into what lights you up, what you're passionate about. I did that here because I felt good being here, and I believed in what was going on here, even though it took me, I'm still learning about the depth of some of these teachings. But I didn't do it as a duty. That does have a different energy to it, yeah? So, he doesn't know I'm going to announce this, but we are reinstating our Volunteer of the Month program, just so you can get to know people who are serving here and why they serve here and what they're doing, and to offer an appreciation for them. So we'll do that at the end of each month, and so you get the benefits for the next month. So that I'm announcing today, we need a drum roll, Jill. Our volunteer, you got a minute? Our volunteer for October, unbeknownst to him, Grandpa Joe in the back. Stand up, Grandpa Joe. How you'll answer, but I think I know. Would you say, and I'll share, Grandpa Joe is called Grandpa Joe because his claim to fame is that he volunteers here during the week with Family Care Collective, holding the little babies and loving on them. But he also plays music for our kids in the children's garden before the service during the week, or on Sundays. He's also on our security team here, supporting locking the doors and making sure everyone knows where they're going. And he's a participant in the men's group and is passionate about deepening that. Did I miss anything?
No, those kids in that picture, I absolutely love them.
Do you get filled up or do you leave empty?
Oh my God. So I had a meeting with a mentor after Friday when I was volunteering on Friday, and he said, I love it when you go volunteer with the kids because you come and you have all this energy.
Yeah.
It's just amazing. I mean, I'll start crying. It's amazing.
Well, thank you for stepping into that and trusting that the time and energy you give will also fill you up. And while you're standing, I would like any of you who serve here in any capacity to stand up so we can see you. Those who count the money, those who serve on the council, those who are in the bookstore on Sundays, fellowship. What else am I forgetting? There's just no doubt that your time and your talent and your energy contribute to what we're able to do here. There's just no doubt about it. So thank you. And there are, in the fellowship room, there's a whole bunch of things on the wall that say all the different ways that you can plug in and a little more about that. And we're always welcoming more of you. There have been a surge of about 4 people signed up to help in the children's garden, which was huge. We were desperately needing that. So things are shifting in that direction. Thank you for considering how you can plug in. You can email info@unitydenver.org for more information. So the other part of being of service to yourself is that there is this natural and radiating call right now for us all to be a part of rebirthing a new iteration of how we want to be together and how we want to be for the fullness of what we can be together. And don't look over yourself in that exchange, right? To feel like to take care of yourself, your energy, your vibration is selfish in any way because it contributes to the good of the whole. And you know this. It just takes a reminder sometimes. When you're feeling like you're at loose ends and then you start to remember, oh, look at that. I've had 7 cups of coffee. I didn't eat breakfast. I didn't do my yoga. Meditate. What was that again? Right? It makes a difference. And here is the main thing. That what we want to be in service of, I believe, whether we know it or not, consciously, is this. Do you remember when you were in elementary school and middle school and college and you were like, you were alive with a dream? You felt possibility? And then you got your wings clipped? Do you remember? I do. It's time to remember. It's time to remember our capacity to dream. A dream where we all have our wings fully expanded and they don't crumble over anybody else. We don't have to pull anybody else down. And we don't have to be conformed and confined. Few of us can even remember that part of us. And that is another function of being exhausted and fear-based and unavailable for the fullness of life. And listen, I've wanted with all my heart to believe that people would never stoop to the level of manipulating us in that way, but I don't believe that anymore. And the darkness is simply the lack of light. When we bring it into the light, we can see it for what it is, and that's what we're seeing. Many of us are mortified at what has been brewing and what is on full display with white supremacy and Christian nationalism. Now we see it. How will we respond? In my mind, we stand up with each other, knowing that we have the power to shift things. Systems and hierarchies were created by people. They can be recreated. They can be taken down and reassembled. And it goes back to the basic teaching of what we've been doing here, that came to life most fervently in the Gospel of Mary Magdalene, this idea of gnosis, that each and every one of us has a connection with divine wisdom and divine love. But if we are so busy freaking out about what's going on out here, we cannot access it. So when we get still, when we get quiet, when we hear that truth, when we hear that voice that says, who's going to do something? Who's going to do something? Who is going to do something? I am. There we go. There it is. Now what you do and what you do and what you do is you get to decide. But doing nothing, I don't think is an option anymore. I've been myself saying, surely this is not really happening. My God. We have history. We know how this goes. We know it. We know how war and destruction and hatred, where it will lead us. What we don't know is if more of us are in tune with and ready to uphold love and connection and authentic unity that has not been demonstrated. I don't see what we have to lose. Now, the hard part is we have to first be willing to look at what's hiding within us, in our own shadow, in the dark places within us that we do not want to look at. We do not want to believe are there. There's no way we can be living in this environment and not have it seeping into us. In part, and the other part is mostly just our own pain, our own disconnection from our belonging that happens to us all, and then we turn on ourselves. That has been the hugest gift that I have finally had the courage to look at that. And I want to tell you, and I've already told you before, that I've spent years taking the spiritual bypass, thinking if I could just master my spiritual knowing, I wouldn't have to suffer. It didn't work. You know what I did? I projected my suffering out here. And I had no frickin' idea. It's through the suffering, the scared to death, doing it anyway, that you find the depth of your spirit. Otherwise, you, like me, are playing a game up here, thinking. This is why we are so detrimental, because we think we're doing it right. We think we got it. Everybody come on and affirm the truth. And that's true. Meanwhile, what's coming up saying, well, except for you, or except for that time you did this, or, right? All right, I did not mean to become a preacher this morning. Look at you sitting on the edge of your seat. So here for this. Here's the bottom line, and you can see this. In order to claim the fullness of this gnosis, this soul knowing, which is the truth that we all have access to, we have to go through the stuff that covers it up. The places and the spaces within us that because of whatever happened, we deemed we're not worthy, we're not okay, we're not welcome, we're not whatever. We did that to ourselves, and so we get to reclaim it. And when we do that, right under it, right behind it, is a knowing and a love and a light. We get to know more of our own self, the light that we are, the light that the world needs. So I tell you that because I've been in a quandary, if I'm honest, about what I'm doing here. And that I do not want to lead anybody away from their own suffering in order to feel like they have spiritually transcended. Because it causes more suffering. But I do believe in what I'm teaching. I do believe that we have the light of God within us. And that gives us the courage to do what we're being asked to do for ourselves, to tend to ourselves, to raise our children differently, and to co-create a world that really, truly is an expression of all that we are collectively. And that will take some time to heal. Some of you are going to be really pissed off with with what you find in there, trust me. And then you're going to be really sad. And then you're going to pick yourself back up and keep going, knowing what you can do from the inside out. So part of it being of service to yourself is tending to what is calling you. Tending to what is being revealed and you is expanding in you to what you're able to see and what you're willing to see and what you're willing to do. So my goal, yeah, that's a bad word, my intention over the next, so next Sunday, Roland Halpern is coming. He is an animal chaplain. And he asked me months ago if he could do a reverence for all life service with a special blessing for the animals. Your children are invited to bring their stuffed animals to be blessed. No live animals unless they're service dogs. And then after that, we're doing a 7-week series on the chakras. And here's why I'm doing that. To give you some tools to be working with your energy centers, to be understanding their purpose, these wheels of energy that work within our human body. Their purpose, where you might be stuck. I'm not a master, I'm going to be learning with you, but that's our fall series. And then we'll have a midweek dive deeper where we will have Emily Stuber, who's a certified yoga instructor, who prides herself on making it accessible. It's really mindful movement, where we will take each chakra a little bit deeper, doing some movements, having some smells, some mantras, all of that to really ground in to that particular chakra. So that'll be on Wednesdays. This is all in your insert. But I want you to know that what's calling me is to start to do some things together and have practices that you can be doing on your own that really ground you in clearing out the vibrant light that you are, and seeing where you're stuck, and having some practices to support you in that. So I wanted to just be sure I shared that with you, even though it's out of order. So let's just take a moment. I know I've said a lot. I've said more than I meant to, or I had planned to. I'm meaning everything that I said. But just take a moment to feel into your body and into your experience of what I've said, of this great turning experience, which is really a call for all of us to live more consciously, more fully aware of all that we hold and all that we are. And to begin to loosen our grip, perhaps, on some of those beliefs, some of that grip of what has been as the only opportunity for what can be. What can you let go of this fall season? To lay claim again on that part of you that knows hope, that dreams. What can you let go of? The doubt, the criticism, the judgment, the cynicism. What is it? And whatever it is, can you replace that with some affirmation of being in service to yourself? In a way that returns you back to the world as full as possible. participating in that reciprocal law of giving and receiving. What can you do to stay awake to the dream that is churning through humanity at this time? And what will remind you to be in service of love? Deep love for yourself and your experience, and those that you care most about. And opening up into that agape love, that loves for the sake of loving, that loves knowing there is something connecting us all. And even if I disagree with you, there is something within you that is of the light. Can I focus on that? And that is what unites us. That's what's right. No matter who seems right. So I just invite you to take a breath and really let this idea in that everything that's happening to us is happening for us, and it requires us to participate. So, above all else, we let go collectively of the propensity of our humanness to say, why is this happening to me? Why now? And instead say, how am I going to respond? How is this going to grow me and grow us? Stay open and receptive to that continuing to express through us and calling us.
Trish, thank you.
Summer, you're welcome.
Your authenticity creates connection. That's what we came for.
What?
That's what we came for.
Okay.
And I talked about this when I was in Unity Village. We were in an auditorium full of artists.
Artists?
Artists. It is art! Like that, artists.
Yeah.
And we tend to, as artists, we tend to feel things deeply and spherically. We give emotion a form. And we give feelings a texture. We're artists. We're the ones who will dive headfirst into the destruction and emerge covered in collateral beauty. Right? We can offer healing because we acknowledge the harm. We've experienced the inequity, so we try to offer balance. And that's what, we're all artists here. Every single one of us are artists. Whatever it is you've been called to do, that is your art. Use your art. Use your art. The world needs your art more than anything right now. Feel a burning in your chest. You know you're different than the rest. And sometimes it makes it feel like you could cry. When you're looking at the world through the heart that's on your sleeve, rather than your saline eyes. And sometimes it scares you to death. And sometimes it stops you in your tracks. Sometimes it makes you feel like you're pushing for nothing. But then everything gets quiet and the world moves in slow motion. And that little voice inside you whispers, do something. This is your call. Your call to be the one. The one who will inspire. I'm mountain star to fire that shines brighter than the sun. And you will not waver. You will stand tall. You will be brave. You're gonna be the difference between loving and resistance. So hear me when I say, you are able, you're willing, you're strong, and this is your call. Yes. This is your call. Yes. You hear the thunder in your voice. You know you have no other choice but to open up your mouth and just let it fly. When you look down at your hands and you know the best laid plans are the ones that push you up from deep inside. They'll try to make you believe that you cannot question what you see. That you should just lay low. But no one's ever sown a seed without breaking up the ground. And no one's ever made history by settling for status quo. This is your call. The call to be the one. The one who will inspire. Come on, star for you that shines brighter than the sun. And you will not waver. You will stand tall. You will be brave. You're gonna be the difference between loving and resistance. So hear me when I say, you are able, you're willing, you're strong. This is your call. Yes. This is your call. Yes. So be the love, and love will be the change you wanna see. Wear what makes you feel good, take who you want to prom, and I will sit with you till there's liberty and justice for all. This is your call to be the one. The one who will inspire. Come out star for you that shines brighter than the sun. And you will not waver. You will stand tall. You will be brave. Gonna be the difference between loving and resistance. So hear me when I say, you are able, you're willing, you're strong. This is your call. This is your call. This is your call.